thing. Starting Crafty Chameleons has just given me a new lease on life. I love getting up in the mornings. I love creating a sample artwork. I love it when the kids arrive. I'm proud of what I do. I talk to everybody about what I do. I probably bore people senseless, but I don't care. I'm so happy doing what I do.
Today, I'm going to chat to CCC member Karen Norman, and Karen is the owner and the founder of a kids arts and crafts club called Crafty Chameleons, such a catchy and sweet little name, and she's doing amazing work. You're in for a treat today. Her positivity is contagious. She sees the glass half full. She's a problem solver, and she believes in a mindset of abundance. So you're going to be truly inspired today. So I'm Christelle, I'm the co-founder of Creative Crafting Club, and my sister Stefania and I help creatives start and grow their very own kids arts and crafts club. So let's head over and meet the lovely Karen. Karen, thank you so much for joining me here today. It's lovely to see you again, and thank you so much. Karen,
nice to be back.
Let's start by, you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, a bit about your background, a bit about your club.
Okay. I am a teacher, a school teacher, and I qualified as a teacher, and I taught when I first qualified, and then I left teaching and did a whole lot of other careers. I've had quite an interesting, varied career. And then I had a son, and when he was about 5, I started teaching again part-time, and then I got a full-time job at a girls' school, and I just loved it. It was 5-year-olds, and I just was so happy. And then after about 6 years there, it was just teaching full-time in a school is a lot of work, as all of you know. And plus I had a teenager, and he wasn't getting enough attention. And I decided to leave full-time teaching, but I knew I still wanted to teach. And I just had a little break for a year and started looking around. And then just one day I was chatting to a friend, and she was saying, what do you really want to do? And I said, I really want to teach children again. I love teaching children. That day, somehow, an email popped up in my box from creation. What do you call it? From you guys. CCC. And I signed up there and then, and it was literally starting 2 days later.
Amazing.
So it was very much meant to be, right timing for me. It was just perfect. And I took a long time doing the courses. I certainly didn't rush. I'd do it, and then I'd think about it, and then I'd stop. And it was a massive learning curve. I'd never used Canva. I had to learn all about that. I had to learn more about Facebook, because I'd only ever just used Facebook to stalk people, I suppose. So the teaching part of it was not a problem for me at all, but I'd had to learn a lot. Starting a business, I'd done that before, so that part of it wasn't hard. But coming up with a name even just took me weeks to think of a name that I liked, and I'd come up with names and I'd change it, and I'd come up with a logo and I'd change it. So the whole process and the course took me a long time. I started in October 2020. I did holiday clubs that December at a local garden center, which was lovely, and I was getting loads of kids. And I did them again in the next school holiday, the Easter school holiday as well. But I really wanted a studio, and I really wanted to have a place where I could do weekly classes, because it wouldn't have worked to do them at the garden center, because they charge me, and I was subject to the weather and also subject to them having kids parties. So it wasn't a good option for me. And I was thinking about my garage, and my husband wasn't keen. And eventually my friend said to me, just do it, Karen. If your husband's not supporting you in the garage conversion, just do it anyway. He'll be fine later on. So I did. So I've converted half of the garage. We've got a long, thin garage. So half of the garage I've cordoned off, and we painted it a beautiful bright colors, and we've got tables. And last year, at the beginning of term 3, we started having lessons. And I invited all my neighbors and all the kids for free lessons, and anybody that I knew. Now, I've got, am I racing ahead and going beyond what we're supposed to be talking about?
No, please do.
So I've got a son who's in matric this year, so grade 11 last year. So I always have to work my life around him. And where was I saying? Oh, yeah. So anyway, so what I was saying is I don't have any friends with little kids. My friends' kids are in matric, or that sort of age range. So I invited the neighbors, and a lot of people came. Not a lot, a few people came, and in fact, everyone that came for a free demo signed up. So that was great. So I had all the neighbors' kids coming, and then they would invite their friends, and then I would bring a friend for free class. So they would bring a friend for free, and then that friend would sign up. So I was having, and I went to see another school around the corner. A friend of mine had a little cottage school, and she had 8 kids, and I offered her a class. So she was coming, she came for 6 months. She brought these normally around 8 kids every Monday. And then I had another class on a Monday and had a class on a Tuesday afternoon. So I had 3 classes last year. And it was so nice. And then I had December Holiday Club. And this year, and then I started approaching schools because I wanted to approach schools.
Karen,
But,
I just want to stop you because you said
am I racing?
you're racing, but you said that you've been working through it very slowly and it took you a while. But I mean, from October, you started in October, and December you hosted your first workshop.
No,
You've been busy ever since. So I think you need to also pat
October the
yourself
year
on the back.
before. Sorry,
Yes,
Christelle,
no, I
October
know.
the year before.
But I mean, from October to December, that's a very short while.
Oh,
You
yes.
some
Yeah.
slack. I
Yeah.
think you
Yeah.
have achieved an incredible amount in a very short time. And I mean, just
Thank you.
listening to your story, that's incredibly inspirational. Tell me a little bit about the schools that you're approaching. So you've got you've got your own little studio now at home.
Yeah. Which
You're
is
doing
lovely. Mm.
you're doing the classes now with that primary, or what is it, a cottage school,
Yes.
and now
Yeah.
you're approaching schools as well.
Yeah. So I approached schools last year, and obviously it was a great idea because the 2 private schools that I approached decided to go ahead and do it all on their own. So I was hugely disappointed on that, on the one hand, but I did realize that I'm actually on the right track if they're copying my ideas. So 2 of the private schools I approached were a no-go. And then I approached, I've got a little pre-primary down the road, which my son went to, so I know the headmistress. So I approached them and she says, yes, sure, come to our open day. So I went there last year. Open day 1, nobody was interested. Open day 2, loads of people were interested. But I think the difference was the second group had been at the school a year before. They were more knowledgeable and the kids are a year older. So I'm doing a demo for that school next week, Wednesday. I will fetch the kids from school and walk them up to my studio on a Wednesday. They'll come to me. So I'm hoping that I can really only fit 10 children in here, but I'm hoping my long-term plan with that school is to have the class at the school. Then I can have more kids and I'm not having to trek them up the road. But that's my next plan. So I'm starting off, if they only want me to do the kids in my classroom, I'll follow their rules. You know,
And
that's
then
what
you've
we have
also
to
got
do.
a demo set up for Thursday, and there's
Yeah.
90 kids at that school.
Yeah, then this Thursday, I've got a school, which they phoned me. I was so excited. I couldn't believe it. Can you do Crafty Chameleons on a Thursday, 1:30 to 2:30? And as it happened, that was my only free day. So it was just meant to be. So I have my first class there this Thursday, and I've offered to do a free demo. So it's only for grade 1s and 2s, but in both classes there are 60 kids. So I'm not sure what other sports are on that day yet. I have to find out. So I don't know how many kids are coming to the demo, but I'm going to make it a very easy demo, and it'll be fun. It will be fun.
That is super. Karen, I mean, this is so much fun. I think just listening to what you are saying, it sounds so similar to our journey, and just like doing one thing and then heading on to the next thing, and then people start talking, and then the next school phones you because they heard that some of the kids are at, Crafty Chameleons, and I think that's the way it works. And I think that's also, I think you need to cut yourself some grace and give yourself some time for the word to get out and just do your thing, because I think you're really rocking it. So before you started your club and you were taking a year off, what did you think and feel in those moments? Were you looking for something specifically? What did you think and feel before starting your club, and what made you decide to actually take that leap and start your club?
I had been looking into something similar before, and I'd been in contact with a British company, exactly what we do here in South Africa. But they wanted me to buy a master franchise, and I didn't want to do that. I just wanted a little arts and crafts studio in my area. I didn't want to go big. I, I'm, you know, I've had a big life, big careers. I just want to teach. That's all I want to do. Just teach kids. I don't want more.
You
Sorry
have a
for all
few
you
full
career-minded
class,
people.
have a few full
And
classes and do your thing. But Karen, just on the note of franchise, I mean, you mentioned Canvas Club earlier. I mean,
mm,
we ran a franchise for many years, and
mm,
we defranchised because of the big entry cost, and it's a big barrier to entry, and
mm,
it's not necessary. And also, like the creative freedom that you lose when you join a big franchise, I think, yeah, I mean, being able to pick your own name and use crafts that we share, or alternatively do your own, I think it's just a lot more fun and it's a lot less
mm,
stressful.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. I think what you do is fantastic. It's such a great idea. The monthly cost is fair and reasonable. And I don't really do many lessons anymore. Now and again, I'll go over them, but I still pay because I like to get the lessons you send every week, every month. Um, it saves me having to create my own lessons, because creating lessons, and I have done it, and I copy your formula thing, but it's time consuming. It's very
Yeah.
time consuming. So for now, I don't want to do that. While I build up the business, I don't want to spend time developing lessons. So your lessons are fantastic. I only teach 4 to 12, or not even 12-year-olds. I probably teach 4 to 8-year-olds. That's my market. So I use both lesson plans. I use for both groups. For
Mm.
example, I did the ring toss game yesterday, and I did it with a 3-year-old, actually. I don't normally do 3-year-olds, but she came as a sibling. And they weren't as great as the sample you've done for us, but they were great. They were
Amazing.
great for them, and the 5-year-olds did so well with that. So I do find that both sets of lessons can be used for both groups. I haven't really used the 2 to 3s, but I'm sure I could if I wanted to, and I'll probably be using when I go to the pre-primary school
Yeah.
next week.
Yeah. 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 So sorry, just to color that in. So we do, our age groups are 2 to 3-year-olds. That's our tiny explorer group, and we give lesson plans in that. And then 4 to 6, that's our little adventurers, and then 6 to 12, that's our creative crafters group. So that's what Karen
Mhm,
is saying, the different age groups. So
mhm.
yeah, so that everybody
Yeah,
knows.
yeah. So my classes are 4 to 6 or 4 to 7. I'm a bit flexible because if it's a sibling, they like to be together and it's easier for parents.
Yeah.
So generally 4 to 6 and 7 to 12, but it seems to be 7 to 9 really.
Yeah. And Karen, what has been your favorite part thus far of your journey?
Everything, everything. um, it's lovely when they are so enthusiastic. The kids are so enthusiastic about their classes. And yesterday I had these 2 new kids coming. And as I said, I had this 3-year-old, and I don't do 3-year-olds. But the 2 sisters had such fun, and they got in the car. And so I said to the parents, "So are you coming back next week?" "Oh, definitely. Look how excited they are." That gives me great joy. That
Yeah.
I love sorting out my studio. I like decluttering it and getting all my ice cream containers sorted. I I've enjoyed learning Canva, and I love creating all the posters and the flyers. I've enjoyed posting on Instagram, which is a completely new thing, and Facebook. Um, I don't like marketing, but I like everything else.
Yeah, that's normal. That's normal. But Karen, you're doing very well with word of mouth by the sounds of it. So well done to
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Yeah, yeah. I was so chuffed. I had a little girl last year. Well, she was grade 1, so six turning 7. A little girl. In fact, they were twins. Her and her brother came, and she won the art award at her school, and they all put it down to Crafty Chameleons, and that is the school that has now approached me to come. So every
That's
little bit
awesome.
helps. You just think you're
Yeah,
getting nowhere, and all of a sudden, oh, you get a strange call, an exciting call.
that's amazing. Well done to you. I mean, yeah, I mean, the fact that
I,
they say it's because of you, I think that's what a nice noddy badge. I think that's awesome. It's such a nice tap on the shoulder to say,
Yeah.
you're doing a good job. That's really great.
Well, it's because of you, because of all your amazing training, all the great coursework, the lessons. I've
Well,
learned so much from you, you two. You're incredible, you sisters. You're just incredible.
thank you, Karen.
You deserve the Noddy badge.
I think you're a good student. So well done. How has starting your club changed your life, and what has it made possible for you and your family?
Well, before I started the club, I was in a bit of a loose end. I was very sad to have stopped teaching. And I wanted to work, but I didn't want to work long days and long hours. And I kind of got I was a bit depressed, I would say. So starting Crafty Chameleons has just given me a new lease on life. I love getting up in the mornings. I love creating a sample artwork. I love it when the kids arrive. I'm proud of what I do. I talk to everybody about what I do. I probably bore people senseless, but I don't care. I'm so happy doing what I do. I think my husband's finally come on board.
He had no choice.
No.
Oh, well done to you. And last question, what advice or a tip would you give someone who's looking to start a club?
Okay. Go at your own pace. And one of the messages that Christelle and Stephanie always say is that your journey is your journey. And often I forgot that message, and I'd see somebody and they'd have a full class and I'd feel that I wasn't doing well. But I've had to, for me, I've gone slowly. And that's what's working for me, is to not rush. And I'd see people also start the course and they'd have lessons within a month. And I used to feel such a failure. But it's my journey. And I'm happy with how my journey's gone now. I have been, but and I'm going at my pace. I'm not going fast. I'm just going at my pace. I'm like the tortoise in the hare race. I'm the tortoise. So that's what's worked for me. It's your journey, not anybody else's journey. Nobody's got your life. Nobody's got your stresses. Nobody knows what's happening in anybody else's life. You just do what you can. Yeah, and every little bit helps. You can't eat the elephant at once. You can only eat it bit by bit.
Yeah, Karen, you're spot on with not comparing yourself when you see other people with full classes, because you should not compare your chapter 1 with somebody who's a lot further down the journey, because ultimately it's just gonna make you feel sad. So, and it takes time to get there. So, well, yeah, I think you're 100% right with that. And another thing that I've also seen come up again and again this week was where people believe it's not possible. And I think it was Henry Ford or somebody who said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So you have to take action. If you don't, you'll continue sabotaging yourself and you'll remain stuck. So I think that's another one. It's your journey is your journey. And also whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. I think those are, the two biggest things when you start, where you kind of sometimes trip. So yeah. And thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And
thank you.
So nice to see you again and hear just how excited you are. And I wish you the success with your 2 big demo classes coming up.
Thank you.